former defensive back at the University of Alabama. Will, I hope you're having a great day. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Hey, Ryan, I'm doing great, man. I think I'm just now catching my breath.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I really haven't done it really justice to describe that game. I'm just kind of curious, what was the biggest takeaways for you?
I don't think you can do it justice, so you just got to watch the thing. You got to watch it from beginning to end to really appreciate the flows and emotions of that game. Man, I don't even know where to start. There's so much stuff to talk about and so many things to take away from the game. I mean, from the very top down, I guess, with Coach Saban, man, I don't see how there's an argument at this point as far as him being the greatest coach in college football history. I mean, he's always been the best recruiter. He's always been the best defensive mind, the best defensive schemer, the best at scheming for a team specifically, the best at building a program. You know, he is from top to bottom, you know, pretty much a prototype for what you would want in a college football coach. But the fact that he continues to evolve at this late stage in his career is simply amazing to me. The guts, you know, to call the onside kick in the title game a few years ago out of nowhere, you know, switching the offensive scheme up, running the RPO stuff, some of the hurry-up scheme, just the entire style of our offense has transcended into, you know, modern-day stuff in a lot of ways. And then to make that call, to call in a true freshman quarterback at halftime of the national championship game and bench the reigning SEC Offensive Player of the Year, a tremendous competitor, a guy that's a great quarterback and has won however many games he's won and on pace to break however many records he is at Alabama. You know, it's easy for us to sit back as armchair quarterbacks and coaches and say, oh, we need Tua, but to be the actual coach in that position and to have that responsibility on your shoulders and be able to make that call in that game, I didn't think he had it in him. I'll be real honest. I did not think that we would see Tua in that game. I thought that Tua would get a chance this offseason if he didn't transfer, and I thought he would get an opportunity then to take over the job. But in that situation, man, as gutsy a call as you could see from a coach, and it paid off. You know, he very well could have turned on him. And I thought that Tua did exactly what we've seen him do this year, which was keep his composure. You know, kind of think it was I forget what game it was, maybe Tennessee or somebody when he threw the pick six, and you could tell it didn't faze him. So wasn't really worried at all. I was excited. You know, Ryan, you and I have talked a lot about Tua this year, and you know I haven't openly on the air come out and said that I was an advocate for Tua being the starter, but I did think that. I just did not want to put any kind of criticism unnecessarily or any, you know, I just hate to do that to someone like Jalen, who's a tremendous, tremendous athlete and an unbelievable teammate. I mean, watching the way that he reacted and responded last night to what happened, you can't do anything but tip your hat to the guy. I mean, you could tell he was genuinely happy for his friend who he spent so much time with, Tua, in that quarterback room, was happy for the team's success, and in no way, shape, or form took one bit away from the happiness to sulk for himself or to feel sorry for himself. So tremendous amount of respect for Jalen in that situation and for everything that he's accomplished for the team. And yeah, I certainly hope that, you know, I have no idea what will happen at the quarterback position. I'm sure that it'll be an open competition come spring. And, you know, I don't know, maybe they just go ahead and give the job to Tua or name him the starter. I don't want to say give it to him. He clearly earned it if he gets it. But regardless of what happens, I do think that Tua will be our starter next year. And I really hope that Jalen sticks around and that we find a way to sprinkle him in. You know, the guy that comes to mind for me is a Trey Burton at Florida a few years ago, if you guys can recall him, somebody that Florida used in really a number of roles. You saw him sprinkled in at running back, at tight end, at the H-back position, at quarterback, you know, split him to slot. I mean, you can utilize a guy that has the skill set that Jalen has in a number of ways, and I certainly hope that we can find a way to get him on the field and utilize his strengths and let him to continue to contribute to the program because I think he's got it in him. But that being said, I think we saw the future at quarterback last night in Tua. It's what we've seen in the few opportunities and glimpses that we've gotten to see him in mop-up duty this year. He just totally opens up the offense. And we've talked about this from day one this year that, you know, like I said, didn't come out and say it, but was kind of trying to hint at the fact, you know, to win a national championship, we were going to have to be able to throw the ball deep. and be able to throw the ball and at least keep teams honest. And we saw this year progress. We were able to win games with Jalen at quarterback, and that just because we're such a good football team, such a complete team from top to bottom. But in the end, that's what it took. We had to be able to throw the ball. They completely shut us down offensively in the first half. There had to be a change. Coach Saban had the gumption to make the call, put Tua in there, and he responded, man. I mean, you just see what he's able to do when he gets in there with the talent around him. He just completely opens up the offense in all facets. He opens up the running game with his ability to stretch the field. He stretches your defense. He's got them tired. They're running down the field. He's making throws. He's scrambling, and he's not scrambling just to run now. I mean, he's got that Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield-esque scramble to him where, yeah, he can beat you with his feet. He did a number of times last night, made some huge plays with his feet. But when he's scrambling, he's got his eyes downfield, and he's looking to make the play downfield and find the open man. And man, he can stop on a dime and wind up and throw that pretty lefty ball at any moment back there when he finds somebody. And we saw the pick. Are we going to see some mistakes with him and some more turnovers than we've seen with Jalen? Yeah, we are. The way that he plays, the ball is going to be in the air and up for grabs more than it's been. So I would expect some growing pains with him next year. But man, what a performance to come in as a true freshman on that stage at halftime and deliver like that. I mean, just incredible. And I can't tell you, I can't put into words. I've heard a few analysts trying to do it, but trying to put into words just how incredible that throw was to win the ball game there at the end. I mean, most of the time when you're looking off a safety, when a quarterback is looking off a safety, they're looking off a safety that's playing in the deep middle of the field, and he's the only safety back there in a single high middle of the field trying to guard everybody. Last night, Tua looked off a safety in quarters coverage. He was already on one half of the field. He didn't have to worry about the other half of the field. He had one half of the field to guard, and Tua was able to look him off, and between feel and chemistry with his wideout and route that he's run a million times, be able to look that safety off and then sling in a 50-yard rope and make that throw on the dime. It was just incredible, man. I mean, unbelievable throw, especially in the moment, right after he takes that sack, which is just every coach in America from Pee Wee to Bill Belichick knew that is the absolute no-no in that situation, to take that sack. So to go from that just total freshman moment of utter frustration and just can't believe he did that, and then to turn right back around and make that play to win the whole thing. I mean, just unbelievable, man. You can't say enough about him. And you can tell the poise and the humility that he has and the way that he carries himself and the respect that he gets from his teammates, just every bit the talent that was advertised and hyped up when he came in as a big recruit. And also, the folks that have been kind of murmuring for him this year kind of vindicated that. I mean, he was everything. He was exactly what we needed, and just, came in and made the difference, man. But there was a ton of things in that game that really caught my eye. Najee Harris coming in and making some huge runs in that game. I think that's another bit of credit that you got to give to Coach Saban. I mean, that stable of backs with Damian Harris, Bo Scarborough, those guys who, even Jacobs, I mean, a ton of guys in there that deserve touches. Once again, to turn to a freshman and ask him to carry the rock and make some plays for us in those crucial crunch time situations, and he did it. I mean, he delivered, and he's just one of a number, man. Ruggs, obviously Devontae Thompson, and Alex Leatherwood stepping in at tackle. Coming off that's extremely difficult for an offensive lineman who's not playing. It speaks a lot to his character as a player and his ability to prepare for that situation, to come in that moment and be able to just not let the offense skip a beat, just slide right in and do his job. Just so much credit to those guys. And all those guys are freshmen. I mean, it's unbelievable to think about the possibilities with this team next year. Not to get ahead of ourselves and the game we just had, but when you think ahead, man, it's just unbelievable the possibilities when you take a team as complete as Alabama, and now you're gonna add to it the dynamics of a quarterback with this ability. And the ability to spread the ball around, all the athletes we have, make plays themselves, find guys downfield. I mean, it's just unbelievable to think about what we can do with that guy under center the next few years. But, just a huge game, man. That's just the offensive side of the ball. I mean, defensively, hats off to Coach Pruitt, Saban, and the rest of that staff for another really, really good game plan. We certainly gave up some plays here and there, but the secondary especially, these guys, Ronnie Harrison and Minka Fitzpatrick. Minka, I hope everyone enjoyed getting to see that guy in crimson one last time. I mean, that is a true special talent right there that we had the joy to have on our team for the last 3 years. He's going to go on, and barring injury, I could see him easily being a top 5 pick in the draft. Just so much ability, and I kind of thought I could tell. It looked to me at least like the liver or the kidney, whatever it was bothering him a little bit. So just a ton of credit to him fighting through the pain and all those guys all year. This entire team really just fought through a ton of adversity. I don't think it was the most dominant Alabama team we've ever had, but you could certainly say it was as resilient a team as we've ever had. Between all the injuries that they battled through, the new faces and transition on the coaching staff, including both coordinators, just a tremendous amount of adversity that they faced all year, and to fight through it, to come through, get the opportunity, take advantage of it, get the redemption on Clemson, get the revenge on Clemson, and then to go on and win this game in Georgia's home state, in their backyard. Man, just a huge amount of credit to that team, the coaching staff, the players, the managers, the trainers who try to get these guys healthy down the stretch. I mean, so much credit to go around for everyone involved. And just an unbelievable season and an unbelievable cap to the year, and to an unbelievable – and that's one of the craziest games I've ever seen. We were hooting and hollering, jumping on the couch. I unfortunately wasn't able to make it there, but man, I'm certainly about to go home and watch it again. I haven't gotten to watch the replay yet, but what a game, man. I mean, we could talk about it all night.
Hey, Will, I've asked you one question, and, man, you just gave a 10-minute analysis that's one of the best that I've heard. I mean, it's simply remarkable. Let me try to summarize here. We've got about 6 minutes left here in the interview. Let me ask you real quick, going back to the way that he looked that safety off, is that just a skill set? That's pretty unusual for this young of a player, right? I mean, that's not is that typical from a quarterback like this, or how much of a skill is that, I guess?
I'm not the one to ask that question. That's a very minute skill for a quarterback. I'm not, and I say minute, not uncommon. Every quarterback's got to have the ability to look off safeties and to disguise and to try and influence the defense in a way that puts our offense or your offense in the position to succeed and have success on any given play. To touch on the other side of the field there, Georgia, I thought that Fromm did a tremendous job coming on this year, and you really saw in that Oklahoma game, his ability to lead that offense and to put them in good positions, check off on certain plays. I think he's a real talent, and Georgia is a whole other conversation. They're going to be a real threat in the national title every year going forward here for the foreseeable future. But back to Tua, man, I don't know if they teach. I'm sure they teach that to a degree. But to be able to come in that situation and make that throw, like I say again, coming off of that, the play before is such a negative play where you just very easy to fold right there and just say, oh my gosh, I just, took a 20-yard loss and, I pretty much knocked us out of field goal range. You very easily could have thrown in the towel there mentally as a quarterback and as an offensive unit, but I got to bounce back and turn around and make that throw. It just, to me, it speaks more than anything to hit a confidence in himself and his abilities, as well as his confidence in our coaching staff, the play call, and the chemistry and the wide out to run the route. I mean, you could tell that throw was total feel. He's thrown that route a million times probably in routes on air and in practice, and to do it on that stage and to execute it, man, I mean, just incredible. I mean, it really is incredible when you think about the magnitude of the situation and all things considered there. And to put it on the dime right there, man, the safety never had a shot. I mean, there's a few quarterbacks that can make some really special throws. The guy that comes to mind for me, we didn't face a ton of really elite quarterbacks during my time. One of the guys we did, though, that could make every throw on the football field was Ryan Mallett. He's still bouncing around the NFL right now. I'm not sure. I think he was with the Texans last I saw. But, a guy that's got all the physical tools and was a really good college quarterback. He could make all the throws on the field. He can throw it sideline to sideline, comeback routes from the far hash. I mean, you name it, he can make the throw. And that's the kind of throw right there that really only a special breed of quarterback can make in that coverage, in that situation, and that on that point of the field. Man, just incredible. I mean, it just makes you excited for the future. I mean, we've only gotten to see this guy really play one true half of football, and man, I wish we had a dozen more games. I want to see what all he has to offer.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Will, did it seem like when he came in, because these guys have seen this in practice, it was like a breath of fresh air for both the offense and defense? It seemed like everybody took their game up a notch.
Absolutely, I agree with that. And again, I don't want to take anything away from Jalen, who is a huge part of our team and a huge part of this national championship. And we're not where we are without Jalen. But it was clear in this game, at this point in the game, at halftime, we were not able to have success offensively. We weren't doing it. Georgia had smothered the life out of us as a football team because of their ability to stifle us on offense. We weren't able to move the ball. We were disheartened across the board. And I think you make any change there, and there's going to be, you got to latch on. As a player, you want to see anything there. Anything to change what wasn't working is going to excite you a little bit. But, talking to guys on staff throughout the year and some of the coaches and being at practice and getting to see him in action and seeing the way that he interacts with his teammates and everybody on the field, you can tell that he's got that special it factor to him and that he commands a certain respect. I don't even know if commands is the right word. The way he carries himself, you can tell that he's a magnet. People are drawn to him. They respect him. They like him. And they're confident in his abilities. I can tell you the team, the staff, the players, those guys have confidence in his ability. And that's not to say that they didn't have confidence in Jalen. But like I say, when you get in that point in the game and something's not working, you want to try something else. So no doubt about it. I'm sure that the receivers were excited, to get a guy in there that they know can swing it around. The defense is excited to see something change on offense, just to give them a breather, if nothing else. It's moved the chains a couple times. So no doubt about it, you saw a difference in the team, and for good reason. We got to go on and see exactly why they had that reaction. I mean, he delivered. He was every bit as advertised, and ultimately brought home the 17th national championship in this storied dynasty that's still ongoing.